So, because today's mostly working on assignment number 4 with help from me and from your classmates, the PowerPoint is pretty light. It will be done at a later date, but I'm recording it for now so I can give you like the quickest version possible of what I want to show you. I'm going to shut the door real fast while we do that. Okay. So the public subfolder, the one that was in your images yesterday, or sorry, not your images, your root folders yesterday, is going to be where your local images get stored. I want to start by showing you that because you already have practice. And if you're talking right now, I'd really appreciate it if you weren't. Thank you. Local images go, and local means it's inside of the root folder and not at a URL, not outside of the website's necessary cookbook, the website's necessary binder, and they're very simple to create, okay? So I'm going to go to VS Code, and I'm going to click on File and Open Folder, in case you closed your folder yesterday. You go to File, you go Open Folder, and then you want to find the folders that we put together yesterday. Oops, we're frozen. My bad. Open up the folder that we put together yesterday, and you can tell it's really easy to find because of that naming scheme that's going to be in Wednesday's video. So if you weren't here yesterday, the start of Wednesday's video is talking about how you put this together. The quick version is you create a folder with some special naming stuff on it, and inside of that folder you put another public subfolder. Okay? So, what goes inside of this public subfolder, we can also see it in, oops, that's screen recordings. That's the wrong one, sorry. You can also see it in your File Explorer, which is the other name for this. This is Yearbook. We want to go to period 4 here. Anything that you want your website to render, which means put on the page or create or make visible for the user, you can put inside of the public folder. So I'm going to go to Unsplash and grab a quick picture to show you the downloading process and then how to get it onto your pages. You can do this with whatever photos you have. So if you've got them on your phones, you can send them to yourself later to download to this computer, or you can get the OneDrive app and upload them from there. But if you're trying to get photography from your phones to your websites, it'll go in the public folder. So once you have an image that you want to include, I'm just going to use, which one do I want to use? Unsplash is cool. It's free. It's royalty free. You can use whatever you need to use. I'm going to go with just this guy right here because it looks pretty cool. I'm going to download this, and for you, it'll probably just save directly to your downloads. Okay, so we're going to do that for example here. Overall, there's a lot of different ways that you can get your pictures. You can get whatever photography or images you want onto your page. There's a lot of places you can download them from, but the most important end goal, the most important end result is going to be that public folder. Okay, so I'm going to take this image from my downloads. I'm going to right click on it, and I'm going to go to the cut icon right at the top here. You can also hold Control and press X. We're going to cut that image. Then in OneDrive, go to our root folder for this assignment. This one is the one from yesterday, 0225, fourth period, assignment number 4. And then we're going to double click twice so that we go into the root folder, then into the public folder, and we're going to paste it. Okay? Once you go back to VS Code, which will be right here, you can see that something now lives inside of the public folder on our Explorer. You can see it's got this, it's got this purple little photography icon, kind of like the app icon on your phones. Right above our index, they're at different levels because they're in different folders. And I can click on this right here, and because VS Code has the ability to display images just like your File Explorer, it's going to pop up right here so that you know for sure it worked. Okay? The first major step, to recap what I've just showed you, is whatever photography you want on your page has to go inside of your public subfolder. Usually that comes from your downloads. You can copy, paste it, you can cut it, paste it, you can drag and drop it. You can save it directly to your public subfolder. There's a lot of ways that you can get it there, but you just want to get any image you want that's not online, like not a URL, you want to put inside of the public folder. The cool part is that this just becomes the SRC. The drawback of this becoming the SRC is that you have to type out the entire name of the file that you want it to reference, okay? So there are two solutions. You can either rename it to something shorter, so I can right-click and rename and call this example, so I don't have to type out the entire thing that I did before, or you can just let VS Code do the guessing for you, right? So if I want to create an image, I shift comma, IMG, and then before I close my image tag, I can add my SRC attribute, then hit enter, or I can type an equal sign and a pair of quotation marks, and then I'm going to type the word. For example, let's go with the full out. If I start typing the photographer's name, which is Shubham DAG, you can see nothing's happening, right? It's turning kind of yellow, but it's the coppery color that SRCs usually take. But the computer, being very literal, is not able to see this folder because we haven't told it to look in that folder yet, okay? Another example, before I finish off this image source, you can think about your root folders like your backpack. You are the developer, so you know everything that's going on inside of your backpack. But in order for you to access the information that's in there, you have to unzip the specific pocket, you have to unzip the specifics, or you have to tell the user the specific folder that the stuff is in, like your gum, your headphones, your hand sanitizer, whatever. Welcome in. So we need to do that in our SRC step as well. Let me finish this real quick and then I can help you. You got to give it like a trail, like a Google Maps style trail of all the folders that it needs to go through before it gets to the image. In our case, it's just public. And once we start typing out public, you're going to see this little folder icon appear, followed by a slash. That public slash is the first stop on your computer's journey to go find this local image, this Shubham DAG photography right here. And you can see it's starting to pop up here because we told our computer to look in the public folder. So if I click on it, it will fill it out. It will have the public subfolder, a slash, and then the name of the file. So if you renamed your file to something easier to type, for example, if I just called this example, okay, I can go back into my source here and start typing out example, and it's quite a bit shorter. Okay, I do still need to close my image tag because you can see my body tag is red. So I'm going to go shift period right here, Control S to save, click on my run and debug icon, and you're going to see the image is now placed itself on the screen. Another quick reminder before I help my other student here is that we want to add, if your image is too big, you can add a style attribute and set the width width to a percentage. I'm going to go like 20%. And then make sure that you have your colon and your semicolon. When you Control S to save and refresh, go back to your output, it's going to make it quite a bit smaller. Going off of yesterday, images are inline tags, so they're going to line up with other inline tags. They are not going to create a new line unless you put them inside of a div container that holds the new line totally. So I'm going to help this student real fast, then we're going to talk about sectioning a little bit, and then I want to give you some work time to finish up assignment 4, which is due midnight tomorrow night. I want to show y'all how to get the sectioning portion of assignment number 4 correct on the rubric, or how you can earn the points for assignment 4, that specific part of the rubric. If we go look at the assignment, which we can see right here on yesterday's link, I've also updated these to have a couple different examples of block elements and inline elements that you can include. But there's a thing right here that says 3 web page sections. Okay, what is a section? In short, a section is a div container that serves a specific purpose. Okay? Most frequently, sections that we're going to be using, I'll show you a little example from yesterday's resources. So if you go to Wednesday, where did I put them? Semantic elements is what they were called. So semantic elements are specific types of divs that are very, very commonly used so that when you come back and look at your HTML code, you know what these different divs are doing. All of these, like header, nav, footer, section, articles, and asides, are all going to be divs with a specific type of styling to them. But because we want to be efficient web designers, they've now come with their own specific name, but they are just divs, okay? And I'll give you a little bit more example of what that looks like visually here in just a second, but I find this graphic right here to be really helpful. There we go. I find this graphic right here to be really helpful because it shows you pretty easily laid out how the different pieces work together, and you just need to have 3 of these sections on your A4 to get the points for it, okay? So if we look at the basic section element, you can see it in the Triad editor. It is just a div container that holds a heading and a paragraph, in this example, talking about the Worldwide Fund for Nature, okay? So it's got the section start and stop, which means you can separate your different pieces from each other, kind of like how you section your paragraphs in an essay. And then here's another section after that with another header and another paragraph expanding further on a specific thing that you're trying to write about, right? For A4, it can be whatever you want. It can be hobbies. It can be Olympic events that you're excited about, Olympians that you're excited about, that type of stuff. But this is one type of semantic elements called a section. There's also articles. They're usually used on things like forums, blogs, comment sections, creating products, or creating newspaper pieces. And while they're going to look very similar in the output, they actually do behave differently a little bit later. Okay, so for now, just practice using the different semantic elements, which you can find by going to Wednesday's resources and looking at number 4. These are the way that you get all of the points that you deserve on assignment number 4 for sections. Okay, and I need to update the partial credit there. That does not have the right amount of partial credit. So you just need at least 3 web page sections from the HTML semantic elements. Pick 3. A header box, a navigation box, and a section box, or you could do a section, an article, and a footer. You could do a section, a side, and a header. You can pick any of these 3 right here, or this list to the left, to get the points for that specific on your HTML. Okay? Does that make sense? We'll probably talk, or I'll give you some more time to do this tomorrow as well, because it is due midnight tomorrow. I do want to put your exit task up on the board so you can know what to expect since we don't have a PowerPoint today. I want to know what questions you have about sectioning. It can be just like, how do I do it? What's the point? Because 4th and 5th are getting a little bit out of alignment. I'll get you guys back on the same track here in a second. What questions do you have about sectioning on web pages which are related